Good morning, world. Over the last few years, social media has played a big part in our lives. That includes our personal lives as well as our professional lives. We're connecting with people from all across the world. We're connecting with people at work in a way that we never did before. We're connecting people at school in a way we didn't before. We even connecting with strangers and people from our past differently than we have in the past. And one of the situations or settings that social media is also impacting is the relationship or emotional lives of people. More and more, we're finding that people are coming to therapy or couples counseling to address issues that actually started online. So today I wanted to take a couple minutes to go over five, yes, you know my favorite number, five simple things that you can do to help social media proof your relationship, if you would. The first one is to be able to be respectful of your spouse. And when I say spouse, I don't just mean your husband and wife. I'm talking about anyone that you're in a relationship, whether that's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your baby daddy, your baby mama, whoever it is that you are in that relationship with. You need to be respectful of them. You need to be also respectful of the relationship that you're in, of the marriage or whatever the current status of your relationship is. You need to be respectful of that. And by that, I mean bringing in some of the same measures that you bring in real life. Knowing that, let's say you wouldn't sit and have 3-hour conversations with your ex that you still hung up on at Starbucks. Why is it acceptable for you to have a 3-hour chat with your ex that you still hung up on online? Or discussing your personal relationship issues and reminiscing and doing things online with people that you would not find acceptable to do in person. Be respectful of your relationship and be respectful of the person you're in the relationship with. That's the first and most important thing. If you remember nothing else in this video, remember this: respect your relationship and respect the person you're in the relationship with. Second, don't use social media to vent about your relationship or your spouse, to criticize or chastise your spouse. A lot of people do this, and it's easy when we're in that moment of frustration. You just need to let it out, and it's not that big a deal because you're just typing it or punching a few words on a phone. But it is a huge deal because you're putting that information out there for everyone to see, for everyone to comment on, for everyone to be involved in whatever issue is going on in your relationship. And you already know when an issue is happening between two people, the two people there are able to contain the situation, able to address the issues based on their observations, based on their needs. When you start adding people, when you put it on Facebook and your friend is commenting, or your ex even is commenting on what your husband did, it gets a little bit out of hand because you have all that extra feedback that you don't need, and you also have people involved in your relationship that's not needed, and you're putting your spouse in a situation they should never be put in. You're having them on display for people to judge them. You're having them on display for people to see how they went wrong. You're having other people see that weakness in your spouse. We all have weaknesses, but we all want to keep those quiet. We don't want everybody to know how we went wrong. When you do that, when someone does something and you expose that out to the world and you go out, you publicly chastise that person, you're not helping the situation. You're making it worse, because now that you have outed me and have all your friends seeing and sharing and commenting on what I did, of course, it's time for me to retaliate. It's time for me to get back. And how is the situation getting better? When both people are getting angrier and wanting to one-up the person and getting to the next level. Please, don't do that. Do not go and criticize and chastise your spouse online. Don't vent about your relationship issues online. If you really need to vent, you have friends. you have parents, you have that confidant that you can call and vent to. But do not do that publicly. Do not do it online. Third, don't live your relationship life online. Because one of the things that happens is that when you're living your relationship online, you are one, telling your spouse's secrets. Let's say your husband told his boys that, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling sick, I can't come watch the game with you. And he's actually sitting at home watching some, love story with you. Okay, you're outing him to his boys. That's not cool. And the other part is when you're living every moment of your life online, you're leaving room for people to also know when things are not going right. If every Friday you're posting that you're having dinner with hubby, you and hubby, oh, your honey. And then all of a sudden the issues start, the posts stop or start slowing down, then people start wondering, oh, where is hubby? I've actually seen this on my feed where I've had people who are always posting dinner with hubby and this, that, and the other, how my husband is so sweet, my husband does this. And then when I stopped seeing those posts and I started wondering what's going on, and a few months later I started hearing that same person venting about the harsh divorce that she's going through. So, and when you do that, when you live your whole relationship online, people know the weaknesses of your relationship. People also have the opportunity to interfere. Let's say there was the person that was waiting for that moment to get at you or get at your spouse. Now that the posts have slowed down, they know, oh, things are not as great in paradise. So now is my chance. So even for that, just don't live your whole relationship life online, because one, people do not need to know every single thing you and your spouse are doing. Two, people do not need to know when things are going bad in your relationship. And three, half of it ain't true anyway. Okay, that one was just my thing. All right, so next, I guess, what's that, fourth thing is stop comparing your spouse or your relationship to those 2 minutes of happiness that couple had. Yes, people post highlights. People post the great things. They do not post the 24 hours. Yes, a lot of people do post way more than they need to, but there are a lot of things that are going on in relationships that you're not seeing. You're not getting the behind the scene things. So stop comparing your reality to somebody's highlight reel. Your reality includes, yes, happy moments, funny moments, moments when you and your spouse have a great time. And it also includes that time when y'all wanted to just go at it and yell and scream and when things were not good. There are times in relationships that are difficult, and we need to understand and appreciate that. Just because someone is posting that they get to have dinner wherever with their spouse every Friday, that does not make their relationship better than yours. Maybe her husband just got her flowers because, you know what? Maybe that was his way of making up for something he did to her. Maybe that was because he forgot her birthday, Mother's Day, and Valentine's Day all in one. You don't know what's going on. You do not know the behind the scenes story of all these happy moments. How do you know that maybe they are going on vacation, on some lavish vacation, but your husband cannot afford to take you on that lavish vacation because he's using all his extra money to, pay after care for the kids, where your friend whose husband is doing all these extra things has to watch her kids even when she has to be at work and do. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what sacrifices people are making in order to live that lavish life on social media. I often say social media is the poor man's reality show. They're showing you all these extravagant things that but you're not seeing the stuff that goes on when the camera is off. So please stop comparing your relationship and your spouse to relationships and spouses of other people. Finally, number 5, do not share things on social media that your spouse is not comfortable with, that your spouse is asking you or has asked you not to share. Your relationship life is not just your life. It is you and your spouse's life. If your spouse is not comfortable sharing something on social media, it is very important that you respect that you respect that person's privacy, and you respect their wish. It is a great disrespect when someone says, hey, don't do this to me, and you go out and say, you know what, I'm doing it anyway. A lot of times we probably wouldn't do that in real life, but in social media, for some reason, people feel a little bit more open, a little bit freer to do whatever it is that they want. But life that happens on social media, life that happens online, has real, actual consequences that are experienced offline, that you will experience in your personal life, that you will have to deal with every day. So, to recap, respect your spouse and respect your relationship. Respect your spouse and respect your relationship. Do online things that you would be willing to do in person. 2, do not vent, criticize, or chastise your spouse online. That is not acceptable. Don't put your spouse out on blast like that. It's not right, because you wouldn't do it out in person. Don't do it online. Don't live your whole relationship online, because when you do that, you allow people to know when things are not going good. You also allow people to, interfere when they're during weak moments. So don't live your whole relationship online. Do not compare your spouse or your relationship to the spouse of another or the relationship of another. Your life and your spouse, that's your reality. The stuff you see online, that's somebody's highlight reel. The two do not go together. And finally, don't share what your spouse is not comfortable with. Do not share what your spouse has asked you not to share. All right, so that's all we have for today. I hope you guys will take this to heart and really think about what it is that you're doing online and how you are allowing internet and people you don't know or care about, because I know you don't know all 3,000 of your friends. So people you don't know or care about are impacting your relationship. So be careful out there. Good morning, world. Have a great day.